Thank you for welcoming us into your headphones. I am Chema.
And I'm Eddie. We're reviewing Enola Holmes, and this is the rollback.
What's up, dude?
Dude, it's been a while since we've done that intro properly, since it's been me and Freddie jumping back and forth. It's been a minute since we've done that intro properly.
Yeah, it's usually just, we usually get stuck somewhere there. It's either us or a guest that gets stuck, but seems pretty okay right now. All right, man. Let's talk about Enola Holmes. Let's talk about the new Netflix film starring 11, or I think she has a real name.
I think it's like Brown something?
Millie Bobby Brown, yeah. So Millie Bobby Brown stars in the new Netflix film Enola Holmes. It's based on a series of novels for, I think, slightly younger than young adult.
Yeah.
I think they're mostly for children. And since Sherlock Holmes is a public domain figure, people can do whatever they want with it. So they did. So somebody wrote this short stories about a younger sister that Sherlock Holmes would have. When I first heard about the concept, it kind of reminded me of, I'm appealing to the gamer demographic here, but when they made that game where Professor Layton has a daughter and you play as her.
What movie? What game?
It's a game, Professor Layton. It's a Nintendo franchise about a puzzling detective. It's the same thing, but yeah. So yeah, it kind of gave me that vibe. So I was ready for it. I was ready for it. Let me get the little synopsis here.
Go for it.
Yeah. So, Enola Holmes, mystery runs in the family. While searching for her missing mother, intrepid teen Enola Holmes uses her sleuthing skills to outsmart Big Brother Sherlock and help a runaway lord. So, movie came out last week. What do you think of it?
I think it's adorable. No, really, it was a cute little movie.
We gotta balance this out because my dad heard the Mulan episode.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "Man, you guys left that movie just like with nothing. Like you gave it no chances. Like
we just kicked the shit out of it."
Yeah, it's like you left nothing. Like,
well, see, Enola Holmes succeeds in something that Mulan failed, and I'm pretty sure like Mulan had a bigger budget. I'm pretty sure.
Definitely.
Enola Holmes actually works at female empowerment.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. This movie. I mean, first of all, let's tackling the basics. This movie had me attracted for the idea that I like when movies when you take a beloved character and you present like a different side to it. So I like the Sherlock Holmes angle. I like Millie Bobby Brown because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan, and so that got me. I think you jumped in the second they cast Henry Cavill, but you can confirm or deny that.
Well, I didn't even know anything about Enola Holmes till like a week before it came out. All I saw were like memes all over the place on Facebook about how dreamy Henry Cavill looks as Sherlock, and I'm like, yeah, but that's besides the point. Let me watch the movie. If I can pull off that hair, I would too. But no, yeah, this movie got me interested. I thought initially that it was a Netflix original. It's not, actually. It's a Warner Brothers. No, see, here's what I found out. So Warner Brothers made the film, but due to COVID, they couldn't distribute it. So Netflix got the distribution rights and put it out. It's not a Netflix original, and the budget doesn't seem like crazy big, though. It's probably like maybe 10 to 15 mil, and I think they got their money's worth because this movie, it looks proper, and there's no crazy CGI. It's not the end of the world. It's a nice, contained film.
Yeah, it happens in a couple of days also.
Yeah, well, also, I like the character. I guess there's no better starting off point than Enola, and I like her quirkiness. I like her character. I like her vigor, her guts, I guess is the word I'm trying to find. Her heart. I love that. I like her unwillingness to, be a lady, be a woman, if that makes sense, be assertive, standing up for yourself. I like all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that there's a certain angle that she manages to capture in that role that really, really works. And it wouldn't work if we wouldn't like her from the very start. And I've said this before, that when a character is when you introduce your main character, you have to introduce them at their most likable. When we were talking about the movie Booksmart, the movie starts with the two of them dancing in the street while picking each other up. And I'm like, that's a great introduction. When we're talking about Captain Marvel, I said that one of the great scenes is when she gets this alien like screams to her face and she just screams at her back. I'm like, that's fucking good, So
Yeah.
that I find to be really good. And when you introduce Enola and she's talking to the camera the whole time, and then she falls off her bike and she goes like, oh yeah, I'm not good at biking. I'm like, that's great. That's a great starting off point.
Yeah.
And Millie, Ms. Brown is really good. She's really good, fucking good in this role. And it would, like I said, it wouldn't work if we obviously the people that watch Stranger Things like her already, but I think it makes it like extra special what she's doing in here. I especially like how they didn't feel the need to reference that they even though somebody could make the connection because of Netflix. I like that it was pretty contained, and I like that, and that branches off into the humor of the movie, which I felt really worked because it was grounded. It stayed in that era. There were no modern jokes or anything.
Yeah.
It just, in my opinion, she really works. And the whole, we need to talk about this, the fact that she's talking to the camera the whole time. It wasn't distracting to me, but there was just one scene where she talks to the camera and she's like, do you have any ideas? And I thought like, what is this, Dora the Explorer? Like, what? Other than that,
I didn't mind that, though.
It worked.
I didn't mind any of that.
No, I didn't mind either. It's just that there was just one scene where I was like, okay, come on.
I looked it up. So two things that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown is only 16, meaning she's only going to get better from here. Obviously you can see that she's improved as an actress from Stranger Things season 1, the first episode, to now. You can see, the progression.
Yeah.
But so that's one thing. She's gonna win an Oscar someday, obviously. I got no problem calling that. Her and Tom Holland. But the other thing I didn't know is that actually she worked slightly as a producer, which I believe.
I believe it's her and her sister, her older sister. I think
Paige Brown. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe it. I believe that they probably went to her and said, "Hey, do you have any ideas?" And she probably had some input. The best characters are the ones. How do I say this? The best portrayal of characters are often when the actors have some input, because who knows that character better than the person playing them?
Yeah. Correct.
I'm sure she would have said, Enola would never say this, or Enola would do this, not this. Those things like that.
Yeah. So Enola is sharing the screen with a couple of companions here. More closely, her two brothers, played by Sam Claflin and Henry Cavill. They're playing Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes. Sam Claflin, we know him from The Hunger Games. He was in Me Before You. He was in the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean as a hot clergyman. And he's...
that was the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think it was the 4th one.
No, the 4th one was the one with, I think, Sofia Vergara, or Salma Hayek.
That's the one?
He was in wasn't he in the one with the girl where it was Barbossa's daughter?
No, that's whoever played Will's son. No, he's in the 4th one. He plays a clergyman that falls in love with a mermaid.
Of course.
And
you're right. Jesus,
and you managed to mention Sofia Vergara and Salma Hayek when it was actually Penelope Cruz. So you're racist, motherfucker.
I saw that movie once, and I was half paying attention. That's how bad that movie was. All right.
It's not good. It's not a good movie.
Jesus.
But yeah, so Sam Claflin plays the test Holmes with an ugly ass mustache and an ugly ass hair. Yeah, he's a very attractive guy, and they make him look so ugly.
Well, yeah. How else are you not gonna like him? They go back to the well that works. If he's ugly, you're not gonna like him. Go to the well that works.
So yeah, it's that, and then Henry Cavill plays Sherlock. He had so little to do here, but he was okay. He was just there to be just the voice of the voice of the stern older Sherlock. It kind of he didn't really have to do much, and he did all right with what he did.
There are two things I noticed in this film. One was I noticed the influence that you can't argue with me. I think this is true, and most people would see it. There's a strong influence from the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies in this film. There is. Besides the breaking the fourth wall, her talking things through, the editing is a bit choppy the way they do it and whatnot.
Hmm.
The other thing I was wondering though was, I wonder when they're gonna go into like his drug addiction. For real, I was waiting for Henry Cavill. Okay, I wasn't actually expecting him to do it, but I'm wondering like in like the second or third one of this series, is he gonna like start doing heroin? Like I'm wondering when that's gonna start because he's not this well put together. He's a sociopath to some degree. Sherlock Holmes is not a good person.
Yeah, and we know that because I've seen the BBC Cumberbatch version.
That too. That
Yeah.
too.
No, I think since we're looking at everything from the perspective of the younger daughter, I don't think they're gonna talk about that. My big thing with this was my big thing with Sherlock in this version was that he, like I said before, he had very little to do, and then there were some parts that felt kind of off. Like, for example, there's a scene where the character of Lestrade comes out, and he's a very famous Sherlock Holmes character. And he says, you know what? You don't work with Sherlock Holmes because Sherlock Holmes always works alone. I'm like, what about Watson? Like,
That's
what the
probably
hell?
gonna be in one of the sequels. No, it'll probably be one of the sequels.
Maybe.
Oh God, I hope they don't make her be Watson. I hope not. They better not.
I don't know. I don't know if
She should
Watson
be
is in the
Holmes.
books.
She should
I
be
don't know if
Holmes.
Watson is in the books. So
Oh,
yeah,
he
no,
is.
she's fine.
He
He
is.
is? Okay. Okay.
No, Watson's in the books. I'm just hoping that I want them to continue this streak where like Sherlock is kind of sprinkled in, but it's completely a Enola story. Like he's unable to overshadow her in any way. If anything, she overshadows him. Remember, there's a scene towards the end of the film where Sherlock goes in and tells Lestrade, like, hey, you know, it was this guy, it was his uncle. He's like, that's interesting. Hey, I just
How
can't
did your
believe that
sister get here before?
Your sister beat you to it. And Sherlock's like, wait, what?
That's probably my favorite scene with him when he's walking out and he just goes, ha! And just walks out.
Yeah, he was like, hey.
I was like, hey, well done. Yeah.
The game is indeed afoot.
Yeah. That was a great scene also from the trailer when I heard her say like the game is afoot. I'm like, okay, we're on. We're good. Yeah. I love the production design and cinematography in this film. I felt like it was totally unique, but that fit the movie itself. I like how we would sometimes see like cutouts, and we would see like, this is part 6. Oh, this is part 6 of the plan. Or when we would talk about a different character, and they would pop up like in the cutouts. And I like how the cinematography managed to capture how the city looked from down, like you never see the city from the top until the very end. And I like how it's like a way of saying you're looking at this from a kid's perspective, but it manages to work. And I like how like you mentioned before, we've had this conversation going on since the FBA days, where we're talking about movies that don't need to be about the world ending, like it can be about a smaller thing. And I like how they do that here. There's a kind of a tragic, sad, dark backstory with what the mother is doing, because the mother's a fucking rebel, and she's trying to.
She's an actual domestic terrorist.
Yeah, and but that manages to be like, okay, that's the other part. The focus is going to be like Enola trying to solve the mystery of where she is, which she has to by saving this small boy.
Yeah, they happen to be entangled, which. Yeah. Actually fills a lot. Did you ever read the old Sherlock Holmes stories?
Yeah, I have it right there. This big brown book right there. That's there. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the running things in most of his stories would be like where they.
So the stories, the stories in Sherlock Holmes like intertwine.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this. Well, I'm sure you noticed since you read the books, but. A lot of the time, his stories actually intertwine with other stories. It's not so much that he's hired for a specific job. It's more like he stumbles upon shit.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Enola stumbles upon this kid that's running away from home because he doesn't want to join the army.
Yeah. This kid with the 4 names that are 4, I'm assuming completely made up words for this book, because I've never heard Duke. What was his name? Something of Tewsbury.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, man.
There were
I would butcher that even more.
There were 4 different words. By the way, before we continue, just in case, because I got a message from a friend when we did the DC fandom episode asking if what's in the back of my bookshelf is a Confederate flag. It's not a Confederate flag. It's a flag from Norway, okay? I'm not a racist. Just wanted to
Who the hell? Why? Who said that?
A friend of mine just like saw the Fandom episode. And I was like, "Is that a Confederate flag in the back?" No, it's a flag from Norway.
The
Okay.
Phantom episode?
The Fandom episode. Yeah.
Oh, Fandom. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway. Anyway. Still,
so okay.
these are strange times. Okay.
So how'd you like the story? How'd like the layout, the way they kind of approach everything, where they don't throw you into the plot immediately. It kind of takes its time to develop.
I like how it took its time to develop because it let me meet the characters, which is great. If I'm going to care about the characters, I have to meet the characters. And when the setup was created, when she finds the clues left by the mom and in the birthday present, I like how after we were introduced to that, the game was on. Like immediately she was like, okay, this is my plan. I'm going to leave the bike here. I'm going to dress like a boy. I'm going to jump in this train. And I like how also immediately in the train she meets this boy who becomes the main focus, not the main focus, but like the main thing to follow during the story. And I'll be honest, when he first appeared, I was like, nah, I'm not into this. I'm not into this kid. I'm not into this being like the new focus. But then he left. He kind of disappeared, and I was like, all right, good. Let's get back to finding the mom. But then when it all came back together and was like, all right, the kid is the focus. Through the kid, we're going to find the mom. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Let's do that. And yeah, it gave us the time to meet them. It gave us the time to know Enola, her relationship with the brothers. And it also gave us some time to know why she cares about the mom. If they don't show us those flashbacks of how she grew up with the mom, then we don't care about the mom being disappeared. So I thought the pacing in that was great. The only thing I didn't like about the pacing was the fact that this movie is 2 hours. This movie did not need it to be 2 hours. It could have been like an hour 40, hour 30.
But what would you have cut though? Like the thing is like I could see them cutting maybe 5 minutes worth of the fat, but I don't see much else besides that because a lot of these moments are needed. Like the flashbacks where like her mom says like, you know, it's good to try and save the innocent, but not at the expense of one's own life. You know, like teaching her lessons like that. Yeah. Which, by the way, for anyone, if you want to make, you know how there are a lot of movies where we know the parent for like 5 minutes and then they die and the kid's devastated and we're supposed to feel that? Yeah. This is how you build the love. Is like, I agree. I care. I felt like, oh man, like that is her mother because they spent time together. Her
mother is her whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, and like but you saw them bonding though too. Mm-hmm. And you even see other characters in the movie, other revolutionaries, you know, say, you know, your mom speaks very highly of you. You know, your mom misses you. You know, I remember talking to your mother and you were there. You know, it's very obvious, you know, the relationship that they have. It's a solid relationship. Other movies need to take note. This is how you built that. Also, props to Helena Bonham Carter because she was really not around any of the other big actors. She was always interacting with the young
just Enola,
No, not even Millie Bobby Brown. She only had scenes with the young version of her until the very end when her and you know Helena they finally meet. Yeah.
That's also one of my favorite like jokes when she's talking with the Jess and she's talking to her and then it comes to her and she's that was one of my favorite jokes in the movie.
Wait, and she what?
There's like there's a scene where like super like climaxy scene where it's a shot of the mother with in front of a chessboard and it's telling her like sooner or later you're gonna have to make a choice and you're gonna have to make the right one in order to get things right. And then it cuts to Enola and Ilona and it's her as a baby. So like even as a baby she was already teaching her that shit. I thought that was really funny.
Well, no, and this also goes to show, like, she was raising a warrior. She was raising, like, quote-unquote, a modern woman in that time, which this movie also does a good job of showing you how shit was not equal back then. You know, women were expected to be very subservient. You know, even at one point, it's kind of beat over your head a little bit, but even the headmistress from the school says, you know, you will learn to be a proper lady. You know, you will learn your manners, not to talk back. You know, you will have your head straight. And you will realize that the greatest gift that you can give your husband is, you know, the love and, you know, children. It's like, fuck that.
Did you notice who the headmistress was?
Wasn't she Harry's aunt?
Yes, she was.
Right?
She was Harry Potter's aunt.
You know what I think might be the only real missed opportunity in this whole film?
What?
I think my only single gripe.
A Harry Potter joke?
No, that she didn't break out herself. That, like, you know how kind of the boy kind of comes and kind of repays the favor of, like, you help me get out, I'm going to help you?
Yeah.
I kind of wish Enola, because from the traits that I got from her, she was too smart to just be outwardly like, I hate this. Like, I think Enola would have been like, no, I need to buy my time. Like, it's going to take me a few weeks, but I'm going to earn their trust, and then you'll see.
Yeah.
And then, boom, we see her, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 escape attempts that get thwarted, and then they lock her away.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's something she would have done. Like, you have no chance of cornering this girl.
Well, you have to remember she's a kid.
Yeah.
You know, she's a 16-year-old kid. She's very resourceful, but she probably like limits out, which is why eventually she does escape. She does get her things. Yeah. What else? There's I don't know. I feel like there are scenes where some of these characters should have seen things beforehand. Like, I like how they immediately plot the differences between Sherlock and Mycroft. Like, Mycroft always sees things like above the surface, and Sherlock always goes, more beyond. But I feel like the last resolution where Sherlock leaves the message in the paper for her to see, for her to believe that it's the mom, I feel like he would have caught that. Like she kind of won. She won pretty easily. Like, she immediately saw it and was like, this is not my mom. This is Sherlock. Like, I feel like Sherlock would have seen that.
But I think he did, though. I got to imagine. I kind of went out this film thinking, okay, he knows, she's there, but that he's okay with it. Like, you can be on your own. Like, I'll interfere when necessary,
Yeah.
Because he even tells Minecraft, like, I'll be her ward from now on. Like, I got her. Don't worry about it.
Didn't you feel like this is just me like spitballing, but didn't you feel like maybe the movie got its resolution like a little too quick and easy? That was the only thing that I noticed, because so she gets to see the mom again, and that's great. That's what we want to see. That scene where like the camera holds on them for like 5 to 10 seconds more than it should when they're hugging is like, okay, that feels earned. That feels good. If that would have been the last shot of the movie, I would have been satisfied. But then we jump into this scene at the end where I don't know, where Sherlock like tries to contact her and she figures it out. And then just, I don't know, where like the whole movie in the background, Sherlock and Mycroft are conflicting, because Sherlock is like, just give her to me. And then Mycroft is like, no. And then at the end, he just goes like, okay, she's going to be my ward after we find her. And Mycroft's just like, all right. Like, where did suddenly he had that change of mind of like, yeah, all right. Like it's not like we've been fighting about this for the last 90 minutes, but okay.
Well, no, did he though? Because I don't remember Sherlock ever asking him. I just remember him telling her like, "Can't do anything because you're his ward, not mine."
At the end when he puts the little hedgehog thingy he finds her. He says like after we like if we find her, like I want her to be my ward, and he Mycroft just goes, all right, fine.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Minecraft finally gave up when she broke out of school for like the 3rd time. Just to work hard.
Is it like, you know what, your problem? Like,
yeah,
you're Superman. I'm gonna go swim over here. Like, whatever.
Well, no, I love also the part where like she does it very. She hates doing it, but when she finally gets the dress, dresses like a lady, does the proper thing or whatnot. Yeah. I love how they even incorporate the corset as a weapon when the guy tries to stab her, and she's like, "Oh, thank God!" Like I'm like, "Hey, that's awesome. I like that." Little quirks like that, though, are kind of what give this film so much character. Also, she was a fighter, but they explained it pretty well. How like her mother taught her jujitsu. Yeah, like she wasn't a Mary Sue. She was like, no, like I was trained for this.
Yeah.
Also, side note, Sherlock is actually very Sherlocky. Like he figures stuff out. He actually plays a detective. Like he looks at his mother's boots. He's like, she was over here. There's this, this, that.
He's got his Sherlock moments, totally.
Yeah, and I love that. But I love how Enola also has her own, especially with the words that deciphering. Like, very creative, very interesting, but also, like, damn, like, that's your thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, there's so much happening in this movie. And like I said, since the movie's 2 hours long, I remember when I started watching it on Netflix, I just went like, Jesus Christ, 2 hours long. Okay, fine. Because because it's a simple, cute movie. It's not supposed to be like an Oscar bait, and it's not supposed to be like something bigger than it is. It's just supposed to be entertaining, because let's be honest, we're probably not the target audience for it. Yeah. Like our target audience is probably like 13 to 14 year olds, so probably like a little higher. And that's totally okay. But if the movie's good, the movie's good, and this movie's good. This movie's freaking good.
No, I agree. I'd say it's in Pixar territory when it comes to like it ranges in age. I'm not gonna say it does amazing as a Pixar movie, but you get what I mean. You know, you could be like, I'm 26, and I watched the movie. I'm like, not bad.
Yeah, I found it to be pretty entertaining, and I watched it with my younger sister. She's a couple years younger than me, and she's a big Stranger Things fan, and she loves Millie Bobby Brown. So when she heard about this movie, I was like, we gotta watch it. I was like, we gotta watch it. I gotta watch Henry Cavill in that tweed jacket. That's gonna be fun. And yeah, it turns out the movie is pretty freaking good, and just so much fun to have with it. There's a like I said before, something that I love about the humor is that it manages to feel like humor that would happen at that time. Like besides the breaking the fourth wall, I feel like the jokes are not like, oh well, in the future something like this would like it's fine the way it is. There's a scene where Enola is being chased by that guy that was the younger kid, and she says like, I don't know where he is. He escaped. Like he's not with me anymore. And he goes, well, you've seen my face, so now I have to kill you. And she goes like, no, please, you have a very forgettable face. And oh god, just the humor in this movie is top notch. I think it's one of the most entertaining films I've seen this year, and maybe it's because I haven't seen that many films this year. Fuck you, COVID. But
I like the little scene where like you're right, she's drowning her, and then she plays dead, and she looks at the camera, and she winks like.
Yeah, she winks.
Like those little moments right there add so much character, and I think that was Millie Bobby Brown doing it. You know, it was her being like, this is the way, you know, to do it.
Yeah.
Which props to her, man. I hope as her career goes, they continue to trust her. If she can have this much input on her other characters as the road goes on, she'll be in a pretty good spot.
I'll tell you this. I was watching the movie. I was like, she's having the fucking time of her life doing this movie.
She's enjoying it. Yeah,
like, you can tell. You can tell she's just having a fucking ball with it. Like, it's great for them. I saw the guy that plays Hopper in Stranger Things, like her foster dad, and the sheriff. He was in SNL, and he mentioned in his monologue, he's like, I'm in a show where I'm with a bunch of kids. And the kids are turning into teenagers, so that's so much fun. And like, so it's so much fun. And yeah, so that's what I'm kind of imagining what the making of this movie, because like it's kind of like how do I explain it? There was a Mario game that came out a couple years ago called Super Mario Odyssey. And it's the first Mario game with a theme song, so like a theme song with lyrics and everything. The song is called Jump Up Superstar. And it's a beautiful woman's voice singing, and she has this chorus of doo-wop backup singers in the background. And there is something so strange about that song that when I hear it, I can feel the people playing the instruments smiling. And that's the same way I feel about this movie. I can feel like everyone that was doing it was just having the time of their lives. The cinematography was great. The music was also great. It felt like pretty accurate to its time. And all is great. The supporting characters are great. And this was just a nice time. I would say at the movies, but it's not. It's a nice time at the streaming services in your own home. Yeah, which by the way, I'm kind of glad that it's a streaming movie. I don't think it would have done that well as a theater film. I think some movies work better as streaming to watch at home. I think this one works pretty well.
Yeah, I don't imagine it would have grossed an insane amount at the box office.
No.
I think this would have made back its budget with some profit, but this was definitely felt like more of a streaming movie. But
yeah,
I think this was the big streaming movie for the month. Like streaming services, if you notice, they got to do about 3 or 4 films a month to try and keep people in.
Yeah.
So to balance that out, you need at least one of them to be good-ish. This was the great one for September, I think.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now at the director and his.
I don't think he's done that much.
He hasn't. That's the crazy thing. Like he's done Killing Eve, Fleabag, Raimi. Like he hasn't done much.
It makes so much sense that he did Fleabag, because Fleabag also does that talking to the audience thing.
There you go. He brought his expertise in that aspect.
Yeah.
Except
that in Fleabag, it's a girl that wants to have sex with a clergyman. So this is a little different.
Okay.
You haven't seen Fleabag?
No.
Oh my God, watch Fleabag. It's hilarious.
Well, I will happily give it a shot. But I'm also looking at this right now. There's a lot of Enola Holmes cases, actually. The next one, if they follow the series, The Case of the Left-Handed Lady.
That awesome. I'm down for that. Something else to mention. Jack Thorne wrote this screenplay. And if I'm not wrong, Jack Thorne is the guy that wrote. Yeah, Jack Thorne has hurt my heart several times. He was one of the writers in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which I hated. He was also a writer in Episode 9 of Star Wars. I'm okay with, but still, I had some issues with it.
Well,
and
also apparently Shameless and Skins, which that's some heavy duty stuff that for him to work with.
Yeah, I want to talk about Daniel Pemberton, who did the music. Mr. Pemberton, you have given us so many great scores, okay? Too many good scores, and you have not gotten your due, good sir. Give this man an Oscar, for God's sakes. I mean, Molly's Game, Into the Spider-Verse, yesterday, Birds of Prey, Gold, music for Steve Jobs. He's been doing pretty good job, and this score I think is probably my favorite that he has done besides Spider-Verse. So thank you, Mr. Pemberton. You're doing God's work.
Is he the new Zimmerman?
No, not yet. He's young, but okay. Let's not get carried away. Okay.
Let's not put undue weight onto the shoulders of others.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's a good talent. His talent should be recognized in some way. That's what I'm trying to say.
This film, we've kind of talked about a bit about the plot. We can talk about the reception for a minute. Besides us, this film has some solid scores. Rotten Tomato, it currently has a 92 as of recording. On Metacritic, it has a 68 out of 100. Overall average is about 7 out of 10. Positive reviews overall. Most people have a lot of positivity to say about this film, not just the film, but its message. And again, the main performance by Millie Bobby Brown. I don't think it's a stretch to say she carries this film on her back. Like,
totally.
She fails, this film fails. It's one of those, but she fucking carries it like a champ.
She's doing good, man. I can't wait for her to be. She's going to be in King Kong vs. Godzilla, so she's going to return for that. Oof. So hopefully, they give her more to do there.
Man, that film was supposed to come out already.
Do you remember when we were doing FBA, we got the news that they were going to make that movie. I think it was like a little bit after Godzilla came out, 2015, I think. And we said, like, even if we stop doing the show, we return to talk about King Kong versus Godzilla. It should have happened already.
No. I think it was supposed to come out in 2018, and then they delayed it to 20.
It was supposed to come out 2020. Like, I clearly remember because I'm like,
no, they delayed it a few times. Delayed it a few times.
But I remember thinking that's gonna look awesome in the poster, like King Kong Godzilla 2020, like that's gonna be. And then turns out 2020 was way scarier than King Kong versus Godzilla could. And
I already know that Wait, do you know about the actual monsters that they're gonna have?
I saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, so.
No, but have you seen the toy leaks about the other monsters they're gonna have in the film?
I try not to.
You are one lucky son of a bitch because I already know what happens. I'm just like, oh, why do I have to know that person is in it?
I try not to know what happens because, well, it can become a problem. You know how I am with spoilers.
Look, man, when we do the Godzilla episode, it's gonna have to be like a 2-hour-long special because I got too much info on it.
Please.
Like I will unload everything. Okay, before we do the Godzilla versus King Kong, we have to review the originals and like a special where we talk about the original Gojira and the original King Kong, like stop motion King Kong. Going back to Millie Bobby Brown and her amazing career,
she'll do good, man.
Do you think that she's gonna stick to like TV series with the occasional film, or do you think at some point she's gonna break in and be like film?
Has she done more TV series other than Stranger Things? I don't think so.
No, she's only done Stranger Things, but it is entirely possible that like her career will be like being an amazing actress on in TV series or I guess television series or streaming series where she can show off her acting chops for 12 episodes at a time versus
I think
2-hour shots a year.
I think this movie might kickstart that. It's if anything, this movie is a good chunk to add to her resume. I think I think it's a nice thing to see, like to look back and be like, oh, you were in that, you were in this, and you were in this. Okay, good. Let's sign you up for another project. I just fear that people might get closer into the 11 character, but if anything, I think this movie proves that she can do more than that. And also, speaking of doing more than your character calls, shout out to Helena Bonham Carter. I've been so tired of seeing her just playing the crazy kooky character, that seeing her play like a super leveled, slightly slightly crazy with thoughts of anarchism. I think actually this character really fits what she can do. It's like every time I see her and Johnny Depp in the fucking makeup, I just think, God damn it, can they just play lawyers or something? Like, fucking relax. And this is fun. And this when I saw Carter in this, I'm like, God, this is why I know she's good. This is why I know she's got it. Something she needs to like step back a bit. Yeah.
What if this is the version that had met Tyler Durden? Imagine.
Well, she did met him at a very strange time in his life. So.
Well, also that would have explained a lot about Sherlock and Minecraft, and possibly a little bit about Enola.
We'll hopefully see in the sequel. Which, by the way, I'm so down if there's a sequel for this.
No, there is. Apparently, if it did well, there would be, and I'm pretty sure. I think the only thing is going to be who's going to pay for it, because technically Warner Brothers paid for this one. Netflix picked up the distribution, and paid it back, I assume. So the question is, does Warner Brothers do it, and the second one gets a theater release?
Speaking of that, here's a better question. Why did Warner Brothers, who have their own like streaming, why would they put it on Netflix? Well, why didn't they save it for HBO Max or something?
Well, I think, and I do think it was a smart call. Maybe they want to try and recoup the money from it because fucking everything's expensive right now. But also, I'd argue Netflix was probably a better audience for this than HBO Max. HBO Max is pretty fucking crowded.
Like, you think also? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. I'll go after. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's pretty fucking crowded. Like between all the series that they just renewed, the series coming out, all the films, like HBO Max is getting crowded. So I'm wondering, maybe they just thought, hey, let's just throw Netflix a bone with this one.
Yeah, because Netflix needs the bone. Do you think the fact that maybe audiences would relate because, of course, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Henry Cavill from The Witcher, and like they're like, oh, we already have those audience. If those audiences are already on Netflix, like we might as well pull them in.
Yeah, I entirely think that's true.
That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, and it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty ride, and I think it's also good for like the whole family. Yeah, what's up?
You there?
I'm here. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Okay, now I can. Wait, okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, sorry. You cut out right before, I think you were about to say Enola, and then like it froze for a minute. I was like, wait, if you're talking, I can't.
Okay. Enola Holmes is a fucking good, fun ride. It's a to borrow a phrase from the great Martin Scorsese, it's a roller coaster. It's not cinema, but it's a fun roller coaster. So let's do it. I mean, it's also, I think it's a great movie to watch with the whole family. I think it's a good family film. Like, there's nothing really bad, but it's nothing really like offensive. It's a fun ride, and I think we need more movies that are just fun rides. I mean, the summer season just ended, and I feel like this movie would have fit perfectly like right in the summer. I feel like it's not a blockbuster, but it's definitely a movie to sit down, have some fun. I don't know if I'll watch it again. Maybe, like, I feel more open to watch this again than watching like Mulan, like that we reviewed a couple weeks ago. But yeah, this was a fun ride. It's just fun. Watch it. It's fun.
What would you rate this movie? Like your scale system, I don't remember if it's A's or B's or on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5. What would you rate this?
I have 1 to 10. I'll rate this movie like a good 7.8. I think it's a fun ride. It's the characters are endearing. The performances are nice. The cinematography is nice to look at. And yeah, like I said, if you're locked up and it's on Netflix, like it's already there for you, you might as well just watch it. So it's good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. You?
Probably a B- or like a 7 scale out of 10. Again, great movie. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch it again. Just like, I'd probably watch it if someone else wanted to. Like, hey, can we watch Enola Holmes? Like, my nephew.
I haven't seen it, yeah. Yeah.
Or, someday when I have a daughter, I want to show her this film. Like, hey.
I was about to ask you that. Like, if you have kids, would you watch or show?
Oh, hell yeah, in a heartbeat. Like, this is, like, I'm busting this up with Toy Story. Like, it's good to a point where, like, I think it's going to be timeless, but also it has a very good message, and it actually does a good job of sending it, Again, I talked about how Mulan failed with female empowerment. This film succeeds where that film failed 100%. You are equal. You don't have to be subservient. There's no bullshit roles, gender roles that you have to play. No, fuck off. Like, you do whatever you want to do, and you do it well.
Yeah, and they do it well, which is, I think, a great way to close out this movie. Any last comments? Anything else you'd like to add?
I hope they explore Sherlock's addiction habits in the sequel.
They do have like a small scene where Enola is talking with Lestrade, asking each other questions, and he goes, "What's his favorite tobacco?" And like, that's it. That's all they talk about.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe here's the big question that I want people to go home with this movie. Is there are at least 3 or 4 scenes in the movie where Enola will go up to a random boy or man and tell him, "I will pay you this much to switch clothes with me." And we only see her with the clothes from the guy. So let's ask it. So let's take this question as homework. Do you think any of those guys wore her dresses? And if you do,
please comment below.
Please comment and like this. Yeah. if you're on that side, then yeah, let's give that a big yes. Okay.
hashtag trade clothes with me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hopefully we see that in the sequel. So
if you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about our thoughts on movies, go to therollback.net. I've been Chema.
And I've been Eddie.
And this was The Rollback.